Chris Paul finally makes the finals, has been one of the most feel-good stories of the year. This championship probably has more, I don't know if it has more, but has just as big of an impact on his legacy and how we remember him as it does for his counterpart Giannis. So like I think no matter what happens this year, one of the main things we're gonna remember about Chris Paul is just him going into teams and making everyone on that team better. Like DeAndre Ayton went from a guy who Chris Paul was calling out halfway through the season and didn't even want to play with to being
Yeah.
maybe like a top 5, top 4 center in the NBA, just like one of the most all well-rounded centers in the NBA, helping Devin Booker reach that next level. We're going to remember him for that, but how much of an impact other than that could this championship have on him and his legacy?
It literally, when Chris Paul retires, if he doesn't win a ring, the thing we'll talk about is who's the greatest player to not win a ring. Karl
Yeah.
Malone, John Stockton, Chris Paul. We'll be talking about all of them, talking about how their impacts, how they just got unlucky. You
Yeah.
know, the Utah Jazz coming up, Michael Jordan, Chris Paul always getting hurt. We'll
Mm-hmm.
be talking about that. If he wins a ring, the conversation changes from that to top 5 greatest point guards of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Stephen A. do his list. We've seen Max Kellerman do his list. They both said if he wins a championship, he's in that list. I had the exact same people they do. They had Magic, Steph Curry, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, and Chris Paul rounding the list. I think that is the five. I think 90% of NBA fans would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like he needs this ring. He enters that super crazy echelon, which he deserves to be in because he's been efficient for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to remember, he was in MVP talks, not really like he wasn't like actually gonna win it, but he was in at least talks,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in MVP talks back in 2009 with Kobe
Yeah.
Bryant.
Yeah.
Like that's how long he's been maintaining this level of play for,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he deserves to be rewarded with it, and he
Mm-hmm.
deserves to be in that top 5 point guard conversation. And everyone in the NBA is cheering for him to win a ring right now.
Yeah. And the thing,
Unless you're Greek, unless you're
yeah,
Greek,
yeah. We
yeah,
we always talk about LeBron and his longevity, but I think it's almost as impressive, maybe even more impressive
yeah,
for you look at small point guards in history. It's just John Stockton putting up numbers like
yeah,
this at his age. So to be able to be like the best player or at least the leader of a championship team in your 16th, 17th season is pretty much something that's never happened before. And Chris Paul, like he's already like obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, but
yeah.
if he gets this ring, he goes from like a first ballot Hall of Famer to like inner circle
Top
of the
five
Hall
point
of
guard.
Fame type guy,
Yeah,
right? It's huge ramifications on his legacy, even like on a guy like Devin Booker too. Like
yeah.
I don't know if he's the best player on the team, but he's the best scorer on the team, and
Mhm.
he is like getting all these endorsements from Chris Paul, so we could see his career just take off if this happens.
Yeah, because he's 24. People
Yeah,
forget to realize that. So like
yeah,
best players under 25, like Devin Booker gets kind of like forgotten by
yeah.
casual fans. Obviously, everyone that watches the NBA a lot knows how good he is, but he doesn't have that casual support like a Donovan Mitchell because a lot of casual fans watch the playoffs. And
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker just wasn't in them until this year. So he just grew a large casual fan base. Like he just got a lot more popular. Those jerseys, we're gonna see a lot of Devin Booker, Chris Paul jersey, Ayton jerseys,
Yeah,
because those Valley Boy jerseys are one of the best looking jerseys,
best in the league, I think. Yeah,
and they're gonna win a championship. So
yeah,
you're gonna see everyone have them. Devin Booker's endorsement deals are gonna go through the roof. 24 with a championship. Whenever you talk about him for the rest of his, like he still has probably 12 years left in the league.
yeah,
So for the next 12 years, like you're gonna mention like, oh, but he has one. You know what I mean? When you compare him to someone like Donovan Mitchell, like let's say their career paths are going, and let's say Donovan Mitchell sadly doesn't reach a championship,
mm-hmm.
and when they're compared, people are gonna be like, oh, the stats are comparable and stuff. But Devin Booker has a ring, Donovan Mitchell doesn't,
Yeah,
and that's gonna always elevate. It's like what happens with Kawhi compared to Jimmy Butler and
mm-hmm.
PG. Yeah, Jimmy Butler and PG are good, and sometimes in regular seasons they're better than Kawhi because Kawhi load manages and rests.
Yeah,
But we know Kawhi has championships. He has that championship pedigree, and he will always be ranked higher than those guys
yeah.
because of that championship.
Another guy's Aiton. He's a guy who went from like I said, like kind of an afterthought, like not considered a bust at number one, but on a tier like much below Trae Young and Luka Doncic, and now he's one of the best centers in the NBA, at least two-way centers. Like he's playing himself into a nice contract, right?
Yeah,
Like. Yeah.
So obviously this is a hyperbole, but when Hakeem won a championship, it justified them drafting Hakeem over Michael Jordan
Yes.
because it's like
Yes.
we won 2 championships with Hakeem Olajuwon. Now DeAndre Ayton wins a championship. The Suns could justify drafting DeAndre Ayton over Luka Doncic and Trae Young because they could be like, hey, we've drafted someone for a position of need and we won a championship. So that's why we did it. And it's justified because a championship comes like we're Raptors fans. We have won in 20 years, our whole history, and we're so
Yep.
happy about that one, right? So
Yep.
winning a championship justifies every decision. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge for the front
Mhm.
office, Suns organization, Suns fans. And DeAndre Ayton's kind of got a huge bag, and he deserves it because he's going to be a champion as the third
Yep.
best player, like clearly the third best player on this team.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram.